So Will, it's been a huge year for you, you won the Indy 500. Just give us a bit of an overview of how big this year's been for you.
Yeah, I mean it was a great year all around, but obviously winning the Indy 500 was the absolute highlight. I would say of the year and probably the last 10 years for me. It's something that it was really the last box I needed to tick in IndyCar. I would have been very disappointed in my career had I not won it. So I was just overexcited in victory lane there. It was just, I kind of had those thoughts like maybe I'll never win it. Maybe, I think I've won more races than anyone the last 10 years, led more laps, more poles, but I hadn't won the Indy 500, so just was absolutely over the moon to win it.
If I take you back to being a kid in Toowoomba, did you have that Indy 500 dream then, or has it always been a sort of a goal?
I was aware of the Indy 500. I just absolutely loved open wheel racing as a kid, so to kind of live out my dream is amazing, because I actually, that was my dream as a kid. That's as early as I can remember. I wanted to be a race car driver or an open wheel Formula One or IndyCar driver, and that's what happened.
You said highlights there, you thought maybe I'll never win it. Yeah, it was 11 times I think before you actually did it.
Yeah.
How sort of much did that play on your mind?
It was playing on my mind a lot these last 2 years. I would have to say this year in particular, going into the month, it was really playing on my mind, because you're starting to wonder, like, I'm not going to have that many more shots at this. I've been so close before, is it going to ever happen? And I've won on pretty much every other track in the series but the Speedway. So yes, that was a huge weight off the shoulders.
And what was the feeling like? Take us back to that moment when you've crossed the line and you've achieved this massive goal.
Yeah, it's almost indescribable, the emotion, because I'd built it up so big in my mind, and even 2 to go, I started fist pumping, and because I knew I had a great car. We made no mistakes all day, and I knew that there was no way anyone was going to get us. So yeah, just every emotion you can kind of think of. There was even a bit of anger in there for all the questions I've had over the years about it.
Can you remember all the details quite vividly, or is it just a blur?
I know I've actually watched the footage, but I think it'll be imprinted in my mind, being there in victory lane, seeing my wife, seeing Roger Penske, and obviously the massive crowd there. It's something I'll never forget. It is quite vividly there.
Can that be topped?
I don't know whether you will ever top winning the Indy 500 for the first time, but I just have so much satisfaction in winning anywhere. It doesn't matter where I win, just winning a race in IndyCar is quite difficult these days. There's so many good drivers, good teams. No one really gets more than 3 wins a year now, so just winning a race in IndyCar is great, but winning the Indy 500 is fantastic.
Could you go back to back? Is that something you've thought about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the goal every year, right? You're going into the season. You're going into the season to win the championship, and you're obviously there's huge emphasis on the Indy 500, particularly in our team with Roger. He's been going there since he was 14 years old. So yeah, we have the pressure. You think about the race, you just have your own pressure on yourself to win it.
I'll take you back to that day. It was a massive day for Australian motorsport. You won the Indy 500, Daniel Ricciardo won the Monaco Grand Prix. Did you know about Ricciardo's win at the time?
I did not know until I went to the press conference, and they said, Ricciardo won Monaco, and I was just, what an amazing weekend to have, 2 Australians win 2 of the biggest races in the world. It's pretty incredible. I'm not sure that will ever happen again.
It's a massive achievement for Australian motorsport, and I guess it's something that you can hope to inspire the next generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually helping some young kids that are coming from Toowoomba, trying to get over and crack into the IndyCar scene. So and it's great to see the interest of young kids that are racing over here to want to get over and race open wheel cars. Obviously, V8's that's a great career, and obviously a fantastic series. but you know, some of these young guys want to go over and race open wheel cars.
It does seem very difficult for young Australians to get over. What's the biggest advice you can give them?
You know what? I think the best advice you can give them is never give up. You know, when I think about the way I made it, there were so many times where I thought I'd be going home to, you know, get back to working a normal job. But you got to keep at it. You got to keep networking, finding these guys that have money and are willing to, you know, are somewhat passionate about motorsport, and probably, you know, kind of weekend warriors that want to back a young guy to go over there and you know, have interest in that. So you just got to keep at it. You know, there's always a way.
Do you feel there's an onus on people like you and Daniel Ricciardo to help get the next generation through?
I do. I mean, yes, I think it's, you know, I had people help me along the way. I had Mark Webber help me, and, you know, Mark Larkham, he helped me. So, you know, you got to kind of repay it as you go. You know, I understand the struggle and how hard it is to find people to help out, and how important it is to have someone to kind of guide you in the right direction as far as what teams and, you know, how to approach the whole thing. So yes, very much like to help the young guys.
You also had this year Roger Penske as your strategist. Tell us a bit about that. That must be quite an interesting role to work with.
It is. You know, having Roger on the car's like actually an honour to get to say that you got to work with Roger. You know, sit in those strategy meetings and talk about strategy before the race and all that. Obviously, he's a very busy man, so he only turns up on race day. So you don't have you know, a consistent guy over the weekend. But we kind of really got to understand each other as the year went on, and kind of looking forward to next year. I think it's a strong combination. Roger has so much passion for winning and racing. Like, that is his weekend golf, you could say. So I think I've never seen a guy so enthusiastic, even at his age, so much energy, so enthusiastic about winning races and just being there amongst it all at the track.
Does that sort of heap the pressure up, the fact that he's your strategist?
No, it doesn't. You know, I put enough pressure on myself because I just, you know, I love to win and compete. And honestly, Roger's really good on the radio. You got to think about how long he's been doing it. He was a driver himself, so he understands the type of things that you want to hear. And it's just quite a relaxed atmosphere on the stand. You know, when you're debriefing with the engineer, you're obviously on the intercom, and you know, it doesn't even register that, you know, he's Roger Penske, you know, the figurehead of the whole Penske Corporation and Penske Racing, but he's just another guy who's, you know, loves his motorsport and is good at his job as a strategist. You've won the Indy 500, you've won the IndyCar title now. What drives you on further? Are you quite committed to IndyCar now? Yeah, very committed. I have to say I have so much desire to win, more than ever, I feel like, and I'm in I would say, the best shape of my life physically, and the best form of my life as far as driving goes. But you know, I'm no slower than I'm as fast as I ever was, and I have a lot of experience. So and on all the disciplines, absolutely love the ovals now. You know, winning more on ovals than I am on road courses these days. So really enjoying it, and want to keep going and winning as long as I can. Do you see yourself staying at Penske's for the rest of your IndyCar career? I do, yeah. I could not see myself going anywhere else. Obviously, you never know what can happen, but absolutely, yeah, very loyal to Roger. You know, it's really been a fantastic career, being able to work with such a team with the resources and just the people around you. There will come a time where I guess you'll call time on your IndyCar career. Have you thought about what you'll do after that? I really don't know. You know, I guess I have had some thoughts of, you know, you'd want to do some sports car stuff, and you want to do Le Mans, you want to do Daytona 24-hour, you want to do Bathurst. You know, some of these events when you're more free to be able to test in the cars and, you know, make yourself, you know, more competitive to be able to do it. You mentioned sort of earlier about Bathurst. Obviously, supercars so big here. Is there any thoughts of maybe doing a wild card or anything like that in the near future? Yeah, absolutely. You know, we've talked about it. I've talked about it with you know, Tim Cindric and Roger Penske, and we've just got to find a way to do it where it doesn't really interrupt your IndyCar season, and it fits for the team as well. So it has been talked about, and I want to do it. So hopefully we can work something out over the next couple of years.
One of the things, talking to Tim Cindric about wildcards, is he's a bit concerned that the drivers don't get enough time in the car. Exactly. Is that an area that needs to be overcome?
Yes. Yeah, that is one of the that is probably the main reason that they don't do it, is that you don't get tyres and you don't get enough testing. So it's hard for them to justify putting all this money in for guys that won't be competitive because they have no time in the car. So, you know, and I think V8 Supercars is trying to, you know, remedy that by allowing a little bit more time and maybe tyres. So hopefully that happens, because you know, I think it's a great series, and I really would like to do Bathurst.
Is that a barrier for you? Would you, if there wasn't the tyres, would that put you off completely, or are you quite keen to just do it anyway?
I think I would do it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I think I really think you've got to do it properly though. You've got to be, you know, able to get some miles in the car. It's no fun when you're trying to learn on the job, and you know, you're kind of pushed into making mistakes because you're not comfortable yet. So yeah, best case scenario is you get the miles and you get to do it.
Do you keep tabs with the series? Do you watch it, like try when you can watch it to see what the guys are doing?
I do, yeah. I try, when I have time, I get that subscription, so I'm able to watch the races later, and I try to catch as many as I can when I can, and keep an eye on what's going on.
Going back to that wildcard then, I guess, is there any chance it might happen next year, or?
I would say not next year. You know, I think that would be pretty tough to make happen. Yeah, I don't think next year, but maybe in the next 3 years.
And any other events that are sort of on your list of things you want to do? Maybe the Bathurst 12 hour or something like that?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought of the Bathurst 12 hour, but that would be a great way to get miles around there. And yeah, they're all the sort of things, yeah, when I'm you know, maybe retired from IndyCar, that it makes it much easier to do, not having to fly back in the middle of the season and you know, interrupt what you're doing over there.
You're back in Australia, so you've got a bit of time at home. Just tell us a bit about that. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things you miss, and it's good to come back home.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing I miss is the family. Is not being able to, you know, not having my son know my parents, you know, knowing his grandparents. So love to come back here. I only get to come back though, you know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks of the year. So I spend as much time up in Toowoomba, you know, with my mum and dad as I can.
There's been some proposals for a race circuit built in Toowoomba.
Yeah.
Are you aware of those? And is that something you're obviously keen to push to get behind?
Yeah, I think actually they showed me the map of it. But yeah, there's the guys, Wagner's, who built the international airport up there, have been kind of playing with the idea of building a racetrack, but obviously that requires a lot of funding, and it'd be great for the city. It'd be really cool if they built a track there and we could have a maybe IndyCar race, but yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine that.
IndyCar's in Toowoomba, that sounds quite nice.
That would be pretty funny.
Well, thanks Will, that was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.